Hello and welcome everyone. It's so good to have you here with me today. The views along Sonora Pass are truly something special. This whole area, especially Donnell Vista, is filled with wonderful memories for me. I've painted this place before and it has a way of just calling me back. There's a particular kind of magic in these California landscapes that I feel so drawn to. And it's often in these moments of trying to translate such beauty that I find myself completely lost in the process. Today, I would love for you to come along as I approach this scene from High Sierra. This time, we can explore a few watercolor ideas together, and I'm also hoping to share a bit about that immersive feeling, what many people call a flow state, that can make creating art so incredibly rewarding. And speaking of rewarding, it means so much to me that you are all here today, choosing to spend this time together. I always love to think of this as our watercolor space, a little corner where we can all create and cheer each other on in our creative lives. So if you're here to perhaps paint along, you're very welcome. And if you have just settled in to relax with a favorite drink and watch the process unfold, a very welcome to you too. The scene we'll bring to life today is the view of Donnell Vista. As we go, I'll make sure to mention the specific supplies I'm using. And for your convenience, I've also put a complete list of all the art materials in the video description right below. Please always feel free to share any questions or suggestions you might have in the comments below. Or even if you just want to pop in and say hello. I always love hearing from all of you. Dear friends, before we start painting, let's settle in, take a deep breath, get a sip of your favorite beverage, and take a look at our reference photo. Alright, as I start to sketch out the scene from Donnell Vista, my mind just floods with memories of the incredible Stanislaus National Forest. It's a place I find myself drawn back to again and again. There is a certain peace, a profound sense of belonging I feel whenever I'm there, surrounded by those ancient trees and sweeping views. This particular scene I'm beginning to sketch today is from a photo I took about 4 years ago. What stands out so vividly from that day was that walking was quite a challenge for me at that time. And I recall this immense wave of gratitude washing over me when I saw the paved walking path at Donnell Vista. It meant I could actually make my way to this very spot, this breathtaking overlook I'm aiming to capture. I remember how wonderfully quiet it was up there. Just the delicate sounds of birdsong, a soft breeze whispering through the pines. Our son was still quite little then, and I can still see him standing there, so small against the vast expanse of the canyon stretching out below. It was a moment that really highlighted the grand, awe-inspiring scale of this place we're fortunate enough to live in and experience. And that feeling, that deep sense of appreciation and being so utterly present in that moment. It's quite similar to what can happen when you connect deeply with your art. As I start to lay down these first guiding lines, I'm already beginning to feel that familiar, gentle pull into the creative process itself. It's that immersive state, often called flow, that wonderful sensation when you are completely absorbed in what you are doing, time seems to just melt away, and the work almost feels like it's unfolding on its own. It's like catching a perfect wave and just riding its energy. The renowned psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi was one of the foremost researchers who brought this concept of flow to many of us. He described it as an optimal experience where your skills are fully engaged with a challenge that's just right for you, leading to a profound sense of enjoyment and deep immersion. It's a state many artists, musicians, athletes, and people from all walks of life seek. So as I begin to translate these memories and this landscape onto the paper, I'm hoping to find that rhythm, that connection, and share a bit of that journey with you today. Down our first foundational wash. You just saw how I began pre-wetting the sky area. Then with my sized remote brush, I laid in those broad sweeping strokes capturing the sky using lovely wet-on-wet technique. And you might have noticed how I deliberately left some areas of the paper untouched. Those became the soft luminous shapes of our clouds, giving the sky its character and breath. From there, I gently connected the sky with the distant mountains and the strong tree trunk on the right. I allowed the colors to merge naturally, and by softening the edges with clear water, it created that feeling of the landscape emerging from a gentle mist. And for the distant mountain ridges, I mixed the pale purple using alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue, and then just a whisper of pale alizarin graced the cliff face itself. It's always worth remembering, especially with this first wash, that there is no need to worry too much. As long as the transparent colors were used and kept fairly pale, the main goal was simply to set the atmosphere and establish the overall mood of this beautiful scene. Then, moving down, the waters of Donnell Lake were suggested with gentle cerulean blue. To complete that initial layer, warmth was brought into our foreground with yellow ochre and just touches of alizarin crimson. And to suggest beautiful distant mountains and the trees of the Stanislaus Forest, I used a cool muted green color. As you can see, this entire first stage is about laying the foundation, creating the sense of place and light that will guide everything that follows. You've just watched me get quite absorbed in laying down the second layer. It's funny, when I'm painting like this, time just disappears. I've had to set alarms to remind myself to run important errands sometimes, or even just to stand up and stretch. Actually, I was so immersed just now that I didn't notice my phone got turned off by the holder, so we've missed the overhead view there. I hope the frontal angle still works for you. This is that flow state we talked about earlier, complete absorption, where you feel strong, alert, and effortlessly in control. The wonderful thing is, we can cultivate this feeling. Here are a few ways you can try it too. Set small, clear goals for each painting session. Find that sweet spot where the challenge stretches your abilities just enough, not too easy, not too overwhelming. Create space for concentration, maybe putting the phone away or letting family know you need uninterrupted time. And when these elements come together, something beautiful happens. Studies show flow increases happiness, reduces stress, and enhances creativity. You are doing it for the pure joy of the process itself. So, as you continue with your own painting, I invite you to notice these moments. Allow yourself to become absorbed in the beautiful act of creation. It's a gift we can give ourselves. And here, our scene from Donnell Vista is slowly coming to life on the paper. What an incredible experience it's been translating this beautiful watercolor landscape onto paper and exploring the amazing feeling of creative flow together. Finding the rhythm where the brush, the paper, the pigments, and your vision all seem to dance in harmony. That is such a deeply rewarding part of watercolor painting. Today, as we build up the layers of the scene, you saw me playing with both transparent and opaque watercolor techniques. Remember those initial delicate washes for the distant atmosphere, where the transparent qualities of the paint let the light of the paper sink through. And later you'll see me suggest wildflowers in the foreground using opaque colors like Naples yellow and lavender, or create more defined textures on the tree canopies and grasses. I feel like it's such a wonderful quality of watercolor to explore how different pigment applications and water control can create wonderfully varied effects. This kind of experimentation is one of the great joys of painting using watercolors. If you are just starting out on your own watercolor painting adventure and perhaps feeling curious about mastering these fundamentals, like understanding your brushes and paper, or how to mix colors, or even demystifying terms like wet on wet or wet on dry, I have a wonderful playlist I've put together called Watercolor Basics. And for those of you who, like me, cherish the story behind the artwork and perhaps enjoy a more reflective, narrative-driven watercolor painting session, I'd be so delighted if you check out my Watercolor Stories playlist. That's where we often dive a little deeper into the inspiration, the personal connection, and the unfolding process behind different pieces. Some of you kindly ask me how you can support this space, and the most wonderful, genuinely meaningful way to do that is simply by enjoying the sessions. If a video like this one capturing Donnell Vista or exploring the flow state in art resonates with you, or if you know someone, a friend or a family member who truly enjoys watercolors and the beauty of nature, or just finding a peaceful creative escape, sharing it with them helps more than you can imagine. My dear friends, thank you so much for choosing to spend your valuable time with me today, for joining me on this artistic trip to Donnell Vista, and for being such an integral part of this creative space. May your brushes always find their own beautiful, uninterrupted flow, and may you discover endless joy and wonder in every single stroke you make. Keep creating, keep exploring, keep seeking out the beauty that calls to you, and keep sharing your incredible light with the world. Until our next painting adventure, happy painting, everyone!